Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints.
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Frank. Tim's not here, but I'm happy to say that joining me is our good friend, Kelsey from Hatewatch with us.
Hi there.
Hey, howdy, hey. Welcome back to Beer with Geeks.
Thanks. Excited to be here.
Yeah. Tim is taking a little break, a little vacation. He's getting married. So we're going to be having some friends join the show, and I thought who better to kick us off than Kelsey. Now, Kelsey, you've technically been on Beer with Geeks before when we did our holiday special
Yes.
a couple years ago. We watched the Star Wars holiday special. So you and Kirsty were both on the show then, but this is your first solo outing on Beer with Geeks. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Are you drinking a beer tonight?
I am.
What do you got?
How could I not be if I'm on Beer with Geeks?
I'm so glad to hear you say that. Yeah. What do you got?
I have a Trillium past present pretzel.
Past present pretzel.
It's a little bit of a tongue twister there.
I actually don't know that. I know Trillium, but I don't know that specific one. Past present pretzel. What are we looking at here? It's
an IPA, and I think it was a limited release, and the can said something about how the spent grain was being brought to a mill in Lynn, and they were going to make pretzels out of it.
That's so cool. I love that. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so that's kind of like Harpoon does at their brewery. Yeah, the pretzels they serve at the Harpoon Brewery are made from their spent grain. That's really neat. Okay, cool. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So what do you got over there?
I'm drinking a new one, also an IPA. This is a Gentile Brewing Company Divergent IPA. I had never seen this before, and it popped up at my local. I've got a tiny little shop here in town that sells some interesting like craft beer and interesting wine and stuff. So I'll pop in there every once in a while and make myself a little like variety 6-pack.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, this one. So this is actually. This is super local to me. Gentile Brewing, Divergent IPA out of Beverly, Mass. So this is like really close to me. Yeah, it's actually really, really smooth. And really it's kind of like floral and sweet. So yeah, I'm liking. This is my first time trying it right now on the air, so I'm enjoying this.
Glad we really stayed within our radiuses with our brewery choices.
Yeah, really. We both Massachusetts local brews. Nice.
Yeah.
Right on. So there is a pantheon of great TV shows that are like classic, can watch them over and over again, can binge them anytime. And one show that you and I both share a great love of is Parks and Rec.
Sure is.
Oh my God, how I love that show. And you were just talking recently over on Hatewatch with us. You did an amazing episode, and I'll throw that in the show notes about Schitt's Creek.
Another delightful show.
Another delightful show. For these are modern times, and yes. I loved that episode, and I loved something that you said in that episode about Schitt's Creek. If you haven't watched Schitt's Creek, by the way, please check it out, especially if you like shows like Parks and Rec. You owe yourself a shot at watching Schitt's Creek. It's so fun. But you pointed out something about sort of and I can't do justice to it, so I'll let you make your own point. But you made an observation about the similarities between the casts of the two shows.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, I was talking about how it's not just the main characters that make the show, but it's the accurateness of the portrayals of all of the little minor characters that come up in like the town meetings or interactions in public spaces that bring those towns to life.
Yeah, and I that really like resonated with me because I've always loved Parks and Rec, and you know, the main reason I love it is like how much heart the show has and how much the main characters all love each other and how they are like, you know, a found family for one another. But you really struck a chord with me when you said that, because it's so true that part of the, like, yes, the heart of the show is very sweet and it's really nice how those characters love each other, but really what makes it in some ways the funniest is just the wackiness and zaniness of those characters and just how true to life they are, but how they're like caricatures of true life.
Right.
So we thought it would be fun to have a chat about some of those crazy side characters and you know, the things we love about them, because there are just so many crazy secondary characters. You know, maybe another day we'll talk about the main characters even, but I think this is kind of a more fun conversation to start with, because there's just so much gold to dig through.
Yeah.
So where do we want to begin? We want to begin with the plentiful TV personalities. Who do we or the friends of the main characters? Where should we start?
Ooh, I think we should definitely start at Pawnee Public Access.
Okay, let's do it.
So I guess I'm gonna call out my favorite, Joan Calamezzo.
Joan Calamezzo. Oh my God, what a piece of work!
She's a piece of work.
She really is. I love how she. I love her recurring relationship with Tom.
Mm-hmm.
How he's like the Joan whisperer and can just get Leslie on her show whenever he needs to.
Well, I kind of suspect everyone knows a Joan.
Oh my God, that's so true. I'm
like it's not a flattering thing necessarily, but everyone knows a Joan.
Everybody knows a Joan. Yeah. We've all got one in our life.
Yeah. I think my favorite episode with her is when she comes back from the cruise, I think, and Ron's on her show, and then he has to run the show because she passes out.
Yes. And he starts taking calls, and like he's answering questions about how to cook a steak or whatever. Like
he's like, and this is how you make a table.
Right. Oh God, it's so good. It's so good. I love that episode. I love the episode where I forget what they're trying to do, but like Tom and Ben take her out to like brunch or lunch or something, and they're trying to convince her to. Do you remember the circumstances? They're trying to convince her to like not run a piece on Leslie or something, and she gets drunk and they have to bring her back to her house, and her house is just covered in like nude portraits of herself, like oil paintings.
Ugh, it's a good one.
She's great, Joan Calamezzo. Oh, America's greatest Pawneean.
Yeah, and she's like not too slimy. She's just the right amount of slimy.
Exactly.
You can't really hate her.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta love her. You know, she's a terrible journalist, but she's a delight.
She is.
Oh, it's great. She's great, and I also love. You know, it's in a similar vein. I love Perd Hapley.
I love Perd Hapley.
Gotta love Perd. You heard with Perd.
I feel like he's become a tone you take on the internet.
Yes, that is very... The statement you've just said is true, which is why I'm laughing.
It's so great. I feel like the only other person or personality that's been able to do that in recent years has been like the narrator on Arrested Development.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, absolutely.
But I like Perd better.
Yeah, I mean, Perd is just... Oh, his delivery is consistent and reliable, and you can always count on Purd. You can always count on Purd to give you a good laugh. Like anytime he's on the screen, you know it's going to be a good time. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a trip when, you know, the actor, he does a lot of like bit parts on lots of TV shows, usually as like a news broadcaster. Mm-hmm. So it's funny because like he was like in like season 1 of Supergirl, actually, just in the background being like,
really?
Oh, Supergirl saves the day, blah, 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 whatever. And not in the Purd character, but it's still him. So I'm like, it's Purd.
I know.
All right.
It is very jarring when you see it. You're like, oh,
absolutely.
Why are you here?
Absolutely. It is absolutely very, very jarring. And like it kind of takes you out of whatever you're watching. And it's like, oh, it's here we go.
Oh, he's great. Well, moving from cable news to public radio, this is a little further out there. But I do love their faux NPR hosts.
Oh, okay. Yes.
August Clementine and Derry Merbles are their names.
I forgot about them. Oh my God, yes. Oh yeah. Man.
Talk about on the nose. They are spectacular.
Note perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Note perfect. And like August Clementine, played by one of my very favorites, John Hodgman. I love John Hodgman, and like I can't think of someone better to play a freaking like fake NPR host with his like with the hair and the mustache and everything, and his little cup of tea in front of him. It's fantastic.
It's great. Oh. Someone had a little bit of a beef with NPR over there on the Parks and Rec writers room, and I love it. Clearly.
And I love that Hodgman was like along for the ride. You know, he was just like, yeah, let's do this. Oh, Waupaca County Public Radio.
Who's on your list? Who else do you got?
Well, I want to give it this just came up recently because I was watching SNL, and Paul Rudd was hosting the finale, and it made me think. I was playing it. I forget which politician he was playing in one sketch, but it made me think of Bobby Newport.
He's a classic.
A classic. An absolute classic. Bobby Newport.
He's also like more layered than they let on.
It's true.
I really like what they did with his character over time.
Yeah, because like he almost starts to become like self-aware at a certain point. Like he starts to realize like, oh, I'm not good at this.
He becomes a human. He helps Leslie achieve what she deserves to achieve.
Correct.
And you still get to poke fun at him for being, you know, kind of
a tool.
Kind of a tool. Yeah.
to be kind. Yeah, and like he just found that he needed to go to space. You know, being a playboy. He had other responsibilities like going to space. So I respect that about him.
Sure.
Bobby Newport.
You do that very well.
Love it so much.
Well, one of my favorites is Barney Varman, the accountant.
Oh my God. Oh. Wait, who's he always shouting out? It's like Ted? Is that the person he's always like?
I believe so.
Ted!
Yeah. Come in here.
Ted, come listen to what Ben said.
I've noticed that on all of Mike Schur's shows, he has an accountant.
Oh my God, wait. Okay, yes, there's Barney. There's the accountant on The Good Place.
Mm-hmm. There were definitely accountants on The Office.
Plenty on The Office. I'm trying to think on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know if they've had an accountant encounter yet.
I bet there's been some accountant, like, or I don't know. There must be.
I'm gonna have to look into this, but for now, I'm spreading rumors that he has beef with accountants.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that seems I'm going to use my one lookup on this actually because I'm actually super good. Okay, I'm not finding anything for accountant on for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but there is an episode called The Audit.
Oh, see?
Right? So,
it's close enough.
In season 4, episode 13, The Audit. So like that's
and that show's
close.
still running. There is time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I think he's like the best accountant of the accountants.
Mm-hmm.
And I particularly like, in addition to his like constantly trying to hire Ben, I really like the episode earlier in the series when Leslie has everyone to her house who has like a class because she's hosting a fancy dinner party and she wants to use them as like free labor or free entertainment. And he shows up and he's like, I'm going to teach you how to do your taxes. And everyone was like, no. And he's so eager.
He's so eager and so excited about such a dull, tedious thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God. He is like everybody's dad who has some hobby that no one cares about. And he's like, let me talk about my whittling. And it's like, oh my God, no one cares. Nobody cares.
But it makes him so happy.
It makes him so happy. And like, he's one of the few that kind of has like a little bit of like an actual like through line of a story throughout. So, I mean, I wouldn't call it an arc. That would be pushing it, but
sure.
But you know, he comes back over and over again. I mean, and basically his thing is like tried to hire Ben left. But I love how much he loves Ben. Like, I love how Ben is like the person he wants to be when he grows up.
I always picture him every time, like, calling his wife or someone and being like, Ben's gonna work here. And then being like, Ben decided not to work here.
Oh. I also love, like, shout out to Ted. I love that we never see Ted.
Yes.
Literally never see Ted. It's just always like, Ted, come hear what Ben said about cones of Dunshire or whatever. Like, oh.
Ted doesn't care.
Ted doesn't care. Ted's probably eating a paunch burger in the next room. He doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about Shauna Malwae-Tweep.
No. I have mixed feelings about her.
Oh, tell me.
I just think she's a little vanilla.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree.
I think she's kind of supposed to be, but
that's it. I think so. I think it's on purpose, but I mean, for sure, she's whatever. But she's there from the beginning.
She really is.
She's there from the pit, like from the very start.
Mm-hmm. She's a bit more competent in her job than Joan Calamezzo in terms of journalism.
Definitely. Yeah. She seems to be like an actual, like, she's an actual journalist. She's got her stuff together more than Joan, but I love that she ends up with, I mean, she ends up sort of being part of the friend group because she's like, she goes to Galentine's Day. Mm-hmm. And I mean, she dates Chris for a little while.
Yeah. She hangs out.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't totally embrace her as part of the group, but she's like allowed to come to some of the parties.
Right. And I was like kind of surprised when I saw her in Galentine's Day because it seemed like they weren't like friends, but
like what did she do to deserve that?
Right.
I would have liked maybe a little more backstory.
I would have liked that. I would have liked like a more like Shauna centric episode. or you know, there's like a B plot that followed her a bit more. Maybe, you know, like a good opportunity to do that would have been maybe while she was dating Chris. But yeah, I agree. I think that would have been good, a little more for her. But then she ends up marrying Bobby Newport, and they go off into the sunset and happily ever after.
Right. Good for Shauna.
Way to go, Shauna.
Another person who's a little controversial who I tend to like, speaking of vanilla, is Mark Brandanowitz.
Brandana quits.
Yeah.
All right. You know, I feel like he's kind of vanilla. So sell me on Mark Brandanowitz.
He is vanilla, but I think he was done with such precision and purpose. Okay. And it may not have been... he had a different role, I guess I'll say, in the beginning, right? And I think as the show evolved and found out what it was, he was the stark example of what it wasn't, which actually helped us to kind of learn more about all the other characters in comparison. And I don't think they needed to keep him longer than they did. I feel like that was a healthy way to phase out someone. But I think he did more work than people give him credit for. And they just nailed it with the very average white man appearance and personality.
Totally. And they acknowledged it too, right?
Yeah.
Like, because even when he was dating Anne, all of her, confessionals about their relationship are like, it's fine. He's a fine boyfriend.
He has a bank account.
Like basically like he's not Andy, so it's good. Like
Yeah.
he's got his life together somewhat.
I love when they have the Halloween party at Anne's house, and I think it's April's boyfriend comes up and he's wearing like a buttoned up shirt with the sleeves like 3/4 of the way rolled up. And she's like, "Oh, you didn't come in a costume?" And he goes, "I'm dressed like an average white man," or something like that. And then they pan over and he looks just like Mark.
It's just, you're right. Okay, you're right. They were very intentional about him. I will definitely agree to that. Maybe I give Mark the short end of the stick there.
I mean, I get what people don't like about him. I don't think he needed to have a romantic relationship with Leslie. I don't need, like, that whole thing didn't need to happen, but it's all right. It got us to where we are now.
That's true. But yeah, I guess, in those early seasons, he definitely served a purpose, and you make a good point about showing what the show was not, because in the early days of the show, I feel like, especially at the very beginning when they talked about how, Leslie would talk about him as like it was almost like a Michael Scott-esque idea about, she almost talked about Mark the way that Michael talks about Jan.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very similar dynamic there, where it's like, oh yeah, we're lovers, or we were lovers, or whatever.
Right.
And it's almost meant to illustrate a certain level of delusion on her part, and they definitely moved away from that, and I'm really, really glad they did.
Yes.
Because Leslie became a better character for it.
I agree.
All right. I want to hate watch one character that I think we need to address, and that is John Ralphio.
Yes.
John Ralphio Saperstein. Oh my God, I hate John Ralphio. I mean, like, I like Ben Schwartz, but oh my God, John Ralphio is just so insufferable. He's obnoxious. He's the worst.
Yeah. I do have to out my co-host who wrote in my spreadsheet for this episode, maybe my all-time fave, but I've heard it's an unpopular opinion.
Kelsey, come on. Seriously, she loves John Ralphio that much?
I had her go in here and I was like, tell me who you think I need to mention. Just because, I need another opinion.
Sure.
And she selected, like, only 50% of my list. And I was like, this is a friendship moment I wasn't ready for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But John Ralphio's the worst.
He's the worst. Oh my God. He is so... He's a bad friend to Tom, like, repeatedly, gives him terrible advice. He gets Tom stuck with his sister, who are we going to talk about Mona Lisa, or is that going to be one that we're going to talk about?
We can lump her into this.
All right. So, because, like, Mona Lisa is her own character, but I mean, let's be honest, when she's first introduced, she's just female John Ralphio. Like, when that's basically the joke, and which I don't think is fair, because I think Jenny Slate is capable of so much more and deserving of so much more, but, like, that's the way the character was kind of written.
Yeah. It's true.
So, but I will say about John Ralphio, the Entertainment 720 storyline, that's funny.
It was very funny.
That's funny.
It was perfect for him.
It really was. It really was. And it's like one of the few things where he really shines. Because like when he and Tom are like business partners now, granted, like it's terrible and like they shouldn't have been in business and it was, giant mistake, but it's similar to Treat Yourself. It's got a similar feel to it, of them just like throwing money away on like all this like literal golden toilets and just like all this stuff that doesn't make sense.
Right. I liked him more in the very beginning. Like, he was better then, and I think he was used better, maybe. Like, making him interact with Ron was always good.
Oh, man, was that great.
And him coming in and being like, I'm going to be your assistant. And that whole, like, pitch that he made, like, that was a good scene. But I think they just ended up overusing him and making him too prominent because they knew people liked him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That made it like really grating over time.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He definitely, with more time, he became sort of more annoying. I love that Donna is the only person that immediately like susses out who he is and is just like, nope, I'm not investing in your bar. Nope, I don't like him.
She's smart.
She's smart. I love that about Donna. It's great.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know who's smart? Ken Hotate.
Ooh, yeah.
I really like him. And I think they use him well because they prop him up in the world of Parks and Rec as a, like, this is our, what's the word for it? He's like the representative of the people that they wronged.
Yes.
all those years ago.
Yes.
And they treat him like a figurehead, and they're like, oh yeah, whatever you say. And he milks it.
He does. And which is so hilarious how he's very okay with like taking advantage.
Right. He knows. He's like, I remember that battle on the wall too.
Oh my God. It's amazing. You're right. They do use him very, very well. And one of the best things, I mean, like when he's like, there's only like two things I know about white people. One of them is that they're afraid of curses. Like,
right.
It's fantastic. And then his fake ceremony to like lift the curse from the Harvest Festival at the end is just amazing. It's just incredible writing. And then he shows up at the Johnny Karate show. It's so great. You're right. He is like, I have not given this enough thought, but as I'm thinking it through, you are 1000% right. Ken Hotate belongs on this list.
He's great. He always makes me happy when I see him appear. I'm like, ooh, something's gonna go down.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh man. I feel like we got to talk about the Tammys.
Yes. Do you need to rank the Tammys?
I don't know if that can be done. Well, I mean, Tammy 2. Tammy 2. I mean, Tammy 2 wins, right? Like, yes, that can be done. Tammy 2 is the winner, because Megan Mullally always wins. What a great way! What a great way to bring Megan Mullally into the show, right? Like to have to have her and Nick Offerman get to play off of each other in a way that is like, in a scary way, probably not that different than their actual life. Mm-hmm. In a hilarious, scary way. I
also think what is it, Esurance ads that they're doing right now are a little too close to home. Yeah, a little too real. Have you read any of their books or seen any of their stage shows or anything? No. Oh man, the audiobooks are great because they do them, and it's just I'm gonna have to do that.
They're filthy, but they're hilarious. And I hear the stage show is similar, because they tour like every year, and they're in all the major cities like almost every year.
Oh,
it's I haven't seen them, but I think I would like to, but then at the same time I feel like I'd be scandalized.
My favorite thing about Tammy 2 is that the whole thing with the library.
Yes. What a great device.
It's excellent.
The idea of this like sort of like repressed librarian character who is just such a freak and has this hold over Ron.
And just like having beef with the most peaceful part of the government.
I know. Like, how can you hate the Parks Department that much?
I mean, I personally had a beef with our library in my town for a few years now. And it was a really good resource for me to be able to pull lines from Parks and Rec and be like, well, the library.
Oh man. You know, I haven't referenced this yet, but you are like in many ways to me, among my friends, you are like my real life Leslie Knope. Like you're the most Leslie Knope person that I think I know. It's really something else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's a compliment.
I mean that as the highest compliment possible. But Tammy 1 is also, I mean, I love that Tammy 2's like thing is that she'll use like library late fees against you. But then Tammy 1 is an IRS agent, so like she can actually lock you up.
Right? I also Tammy Swanson. She was only in like one episode, right? But she's a legend.
Oh, absolutely.
Her green alcohol.
Yes.
I have a small one to call out.
What's a small one?
Similar to Ken Hotate, that I just really enjoy seeing them. The animal control guys.
Okay, yes, they were on my list too. Yes.
They're great.
Oh my God, are they great? Yeah, Harris. I mean, Harris is Harris Whittles.
Yeah.
R.I.P. I love. Yeah, I mean, with like the possum episode.
I recently watched April and Andy's wedding, and they have the pigeons or the doves or whatever they are, and they're all dead. They're just so incompetent.
They're so incompetent. They're so funny. And I didn't realize. So, do you watch Superstore?
I do.
So I only just realized that the other guy who's not Harris, whose name is escaping me right now, but he's from Superstore.
Yeah.
Just caught up on Superstore recently, and then was watching a few episodes of Park and Rec, and I was like, oh my God, that's Garrett. Garrett's there. What?
Right?
Oh my God, it's Harris and Garrett. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. They're so bad at their jobs, and that's what makes them so endearing and delightful. Never found Fairway Frank, but that's okay.
That's all right.
Can we talk about the entire Gergich family?
Yeah.
The entire Gergich family is just, oh my God. Just the whole thing, like the whole premise is incredible and is hilarious, and I love everything about the premise that like here he's this like
he's like kind of schlubby, kind-hearted, but a little schlubby. That's the word.
Not the smartest guy, not the quickest guy, not the best-looking guy, but then like, you know, Gail is Christy Brinkley, so
right.
So there you go.
It's so good.
Eggs, bacon, and toast. Eggs, bacon, and toast.
I just love that he puts up with so much crap every day, and he doesn't care, and they always wonder why he just puts up with it. And he's like, because everything else in his life is so great.
I was like, yeah, especially the vacations to Muncie.
Right. It's beautiful there.
It is. Oh my God, every time. And then Millicent and her dating Chris and everything. I just watched that episode the other day where Millicent and Chris went on their first date. Oh my God, how great!
So great.
I mean that whole family is just the whole premise is great. And then that time when he goes to the doctor for some reason, and the doctor makes a comment about his anatomy being the biggest he's ever seen, and just like oh my God.
Yep.
I love it. I love the whole Gergich clan, everything about them.
It really lasted for a while too. Like they got to use that reveal over and over again on new people.
Yes. Yes, and it was at every time, right? Every time the reactions were golden.
They were.
Oh. All right, I think we got time for one more here. So which one should we go out on?
Well, I'm going to suggest Lil Sebastian.
Oh, I don't get it. I don't get it. No, totally. Oh, yes, Lil Sebastian.
Lil Sebastian.
I mean, what can you say? You know, he's 5,000 candles in the wind.
He truly is.
Yeah. Oh my God. Lil Sebastian, like from the beginning of Lil Sebastian's story. I mean, I guess he only makes like 3 appearances, something like that.
Yeah, because then they have Little Sebastian impersonators, like
right. You know, impersonators for your small town's favorite horse.
It's so good.
It's so great, and like he Lil Sebastian at the Harvest Festival, and then at the opening of the Snake Hole Lounge. And, oh,
what a mascot to have.
What a mascot. And you know, thank God that they found him from the top of that Ferris wheel in the corn maze. Because
I know.
Otherwise, who knows what would have happened? You know, it would have been tragic. Tragic day.
I have a t-shirt that says I met Lil Sebastian.
Do you really?
At Harvest Festival. Of course I do.
See, this is what I'm saying. You are my listening friend. That is fantastic. Yeah, and I just the whole thing with Ben not getting Lil Sebastian is one of my favorite bits. Like, it makes me laugh every single time I watch the Harvest Festival episode. And then at the end, when he's like, you know what? I do get it. Lil Sebastian is the best. And he's like, I don't get it. I do not get it.
That is also one of the hardest gifts to find when you need it. So if any gift makers are out there in your listenership.
Yeah, please hit us up, because I want that in my collection too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. And then like the whole, like, Leslie writes the whole obituary, and then there's the hologram.
The hologram was perfect.
The hologram was incredible. I mean, come on. A hologram of a horse.
And that was like the peak of Entertainment 720, that video.
Oh, yeah.
And that video was just a masterclass.
Yeah, seriously, it was. My God. Oh.
Tom Haverford's like fake British accent that he puts onto that video is one of my favorite things.
It's one of the best things. Honestly, it's one of the best.
Who are we?
Oh, man. All right. Why don't we give like honorable mentions to anyone on your list that we didn't get to talk through?
Sure. Do you have any you want to start with, since I threw out Lil Sebastian there?
Sure. I love Lucy. Oh, that was funny. I love Lucy. No, but I have like such a crush on Lucy. I just think she's like so cool, like way cooler than Tom deserves. And
I don't think she could have stuck around.
Yeah. I wish she could have, but I agree that it wouldn't have worked. I'm a big Lucy fan.
I like her. She's great.
I know.
I've got Greg Pakaitis on my list.
Pakaitis! What a great episode too. Yeah. Great. Pakaitis is something else. He's just a one-time appearance, right? Or does he appear again?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like he's at least referenced again.
Yeah, I think he is, but I think he might only just be there the one time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But
I just love that her nemesis is a little gross teen.
Like a 13-year-old, like, gross kid. Yeah.
It feels right.
It does. It's very fitting. Oren deserves a mention, right?
He does.
Like, yeah.
I also have Marsha and Marshall Langman.
Oh, yes, Marshall Langman. Oh, my God. Yeah, this whole podcast would be banned under her standards. Like,
it's
everything
true.
about it. I made a passing reference to Jerry's anatomy before, so this whole podcast it's garbage. It's got to go. Yeah, they're great. I mean, Jam, right? Councilman Jam. Got to give a shout out to him.
He was someone who was like John Ralphio by the end of it.
I agree.
It's like, I'm done with you, but he's great when they use him well.
Yes. When used properly, he can be great.
I also really like Jennifer Barkley.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't think about her often. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, she didn't. I feel like she got trapped into the curse of being in the later seasons.
Yeah, but I mean, Catherine Hahn. Like
you can't go wrong when you have her.
I know she was a great addition towards the end of the show. Actually, yeah, that she's used very well. She is such a talent too. Like, oh my god. I think she's great.
I feel like there was someone who you wanted to mention that we haven't talked about yet. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I remember talking about John Ralphio.
This other Ron.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh man, I love the whole
the conceit.
Yeah. But the contrast, I guess.
Sure.
Between the two of them, and the whole. So Ron, of course, played by Sam Elliott, who is just the complete mirror opposite, like the hippie, barefoot, vegetarian, the whole thing, and then how that makes Ron Swanson's skin crawl. Oh my god, so great, so great, and he's the parks director in Eagleton, right?
Yeah,
which is weird for Eagleton.
Yeah, it's not right.
It doesn't fit with the whole Eagleton thing.
That's a good point.
But it's so fun. I mean, like, they are just complete mirror images, and I do love that. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Of course. DJ Roomba. Probably
DJ Roomba.
Shout out.
You know what? Yes, that is a character. I will. Yes, DJ Roomba. I have been very tempted to, like, I have a Roomba and I have like a Bluetooth speaker, and I'm just very tempted to just like send him around and call him DJ Roomba.
I haven't done that, but I did name my Roomba DJ Roomba. So I'm like halfway there.
All right, I like that. That's good. That's good work.
Carl, the park ranger.
Carl.
He's pretty great. He's pretty doofy.
He is. Oh, good old Carl. Yeah. Oh man, we could just go on and on.
I know.
Any like final ones that we have to mention before we go?
I think we've really hit everyone on my list.
Yeah. I think so for me too. Like there's just, we could go on and on, but like I'm so glad we did this. This was so much fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on the show here, because this was a lot of fun, and you are like the best person to talk about Parks and Rec with. So I'm so glad that you were able to do this. So thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks.
Tell people on the internet where they can find you.
So you can find my podcast Hatewatch with Us at Hatewatch with Us on Twitter, or at hatewatchwithus.com, or wherever you can find this podcast and other podcasts. That is with my co-host Kirsty, and we talk about hate watching things, but also things that we really like. So a little misleading. There's good stuff there. You can, if you've been hating Game of Thrones, we also have a separate podcast for that.
which is also delightful.
It is called Our Watch Has Ended. Also available in all those places. So we've wrapped up the last 2 seasons there, if that is up your alley.
Yeah, it's pretty great, people. I have to highly recommend. I mean, I'm so glad, I'm so thrilled that that you guys joined our network, and it's been just a delight listening to each new episode. And yeah, Our Watch Has Ended is one of the funniest ideas that I've like ever encountered. Just like, let's make an entire podcast about how much we hate this TV show. That just kills me. So and it's I feel like it's great even if you like Game of Thrones. Like, I feel like if you have a good sense of humor about it, it's great.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So I'm gonna say check it out whether you like Game of Thrones or not, but definitely check out Hatewatch with us no matter what you like. I mean, I want your like some of your specialties are like obviously the rom-com education stuff, right? Is like a staple of your show. The Make Kirsty Watch a Star Wars series I felt very personally invested in.
That one was just for you, Frank.
That made me very, very happy. That was great. It was great content all around.
Lately, we've been really into Hallmark specials of all kinds, I guess, not just Christmas.
Yep.
We've been really on the Hugh Grant beat, so
yes.
we've got stuff there.
That's been good. The Hugh Grant stuff has been really good. I've very much been enjoying that. The music and lyrics one was good, especially like yeah. It's solid. You guys put on a great show, and I eagerly listen to every episode, and I encourage everyone else to do the same.
Thanks, Frank.
I feel like these two shows are sort of cut from a similar cloth. Hatewatch and Beer with Geeks. So, but you can find Beer with Geeks over also at thoughtbubbleaudio.com, where you can also find Hatewatch with us. But you can find us at beerwithgeeks.com, at beerwithgeeks on Twitter. Send us your emails at beerwithgeeks@gmail.com. And of course, find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Castro, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, TuneIn, anywhere podcasts are found, you'll find this show. Leave us your iTunes reviews. Those always mean a whole lot to us. And of course, don't forget to throw us a buck or two over at patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio and keep the lights on so that we can keep bringing you more shows that we love to do. But Kelsey, thank you for talking Parks and Rec with me. It's always a blast. But until next time, cheers.